Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Crime drama this hour, Edward Pawley, starring in an episode of Big Town, and the role originated by Edward G. Robinson from 73 years ago today, February 1st, 1949, Murder in the Snow. And we thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater. It is the first day of February, 32nd day of the year, and we have 334 days remaining until we get to 2023. Supreme Court of the U.S. convened for the first time on this date in 1790. Auburn University chartered as the East Alabama Male College in 1856. Texas seceded from the Union on this date in 1861. Julia Ward Howe's Battle Hymn of the Republic, published for the first time in the Atlantic Monthly in 1862. In 1893, Thomas Edison finished construction of the first motion picture studio in West Orange, New Jersey. New York City's Grand Central Terminal opened on this date in 1913, the world's largest train station. Yes, it is Grand Central Terminal and not Grand Central Station. Royal Canadian Mounted Police began operations on this date in 1920, and in 1939 shooting began on Gone with the Wind.
But Red, you go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Shooting of Gone with the Wind getting underway on this date in 1939. 4 black students staged a sit-in at a lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1960. Doobie Brothers released their album What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits on this date in 1974, featuring their signature hit song Black Water. Director Roman Polanski skipped bail and fled to France after pleading guilty to charges of engaging in sex with a 13-year-old back in 1978, and he's still out of the country today. Convicted bank robber Patty Hearst released from prison on this date in 1979 after her sentence was commuted by President Carter.
I think mostly that. I've learned a lot about people. I've been around a lot of different kinds of people, had to handle lots of unusual situations, and for someone my age, I've been through an awful lot.
Patty Hearst released from prison on this date in 1979. David Letterman began an 11-year run as the host of the Late Night with David Letterman on this date in 1982. And then because they passed him over for The Tonight Show, he would move to CBS and that whole mess. Chief Justice Magistrate of Bhopal Court declared Warren Anderson, ex-CEO of Union Carbide, a fugitive under Indian law in 1992 for failing to appear in the Bhopal disaster case. In Portland on this date in 1994, Tonya Harding's ex-husband Jeff Gillooly pled guilty for his role in attacking figure skater Nancy Kerrigan. In 1996, the Communications Decency Act passed by Congress. In 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, killing 7 astronauts.
It's here this morning with the families of the astronauts and their friends. It started out as a pretty happy morning, awaiting the landing of STS-107. And we had highly anticipated their return because we couldn't wait to congratulate them for their extraordinary performance and their excellent efforts on the science mission on this very important flight. They dedicated their lives to pushing the scientific challenges for all of us here on Earth. And they dedicated themselves to that objective and did it with a happy heart, willingly, and with great enthusiasm. The loss of this valiant crew is something we will never be able to get over, and certainly the families of all of them, we have assured we will do everything we can possibly do to guarantee that they work their way through this horrific tragedy.
NASA Administrator Sean O'Keefe. And it would be in 2004. Janet Jackson's breast became exposed on American television during the halftime show of the Super Bowl, prompting the Nipplegate controversy.
I just want to say one thing about the halftime entertainment, which we found offensive, embarrassing to us and our fans, and inappropriate.
A bigger boob than Janet Jackson's, NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. Passing away on this date in history, author Mary Shelley, gossip columnist Hedda Hopper, Buster Keaton, the crew of Space Shuttle Columbia, also percussionist bandleader Mongo Santamaria, TV host Don Cornelius, best remembered from Soul Train, New York City Mayor Ed Koch, and Screech from Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond, who passed away a year ago today. This is the birth date of composer Victor Herbert, also director-producer John Ford, Enzo Ferrari, he made that car. Also actor Clark Gable, actress and singer Hildegard, Don Eberly of the Eberly Brothers, the last living member of the Kingston Trio, Bob Shane, who passed away 2 years ago at the age of 86, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show's Ray Sawyer, also Sherman Hemsley, you remember him from the Jeffersons, he was George Jefferson, also Rick James, the musician, and actor Brandon Lee. Comedian Garrett Morris, he was Two Broke Girls, and of course probably best remembered from his role in Saturday Night Live. Garrett Morris, 85 years old today. You remember Billy Mumy, the little red-headed kid from Lost in Space? He went on to a lot of other things, but he is still around today. Musician even. Recorded a song all over Dr. Demento, Fish Heads. Billy Mumy is 68 today. Audrey from Twin Peaks, Sherilyn Fenn, 57. Lisa Marie Presley, 54 today. Comedian Pauly Shore, 54. Charmed's Brian Krause is 53. Dexter, from the TV show Dexter, Michael C. Hall, 51. Outcast's Big Boy is 47. She was Brittany in Glee. Heather Morris is 35. MMA fighter and new mom Ronda Rousey is 35. And One Direction's Harry Styles is 28. Those just a few of the people celebrating the first day of February as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you.
From 73 years ago, February 1st, 1949, Edward Pawley, starring in Big Town, on this Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you just have a plan you're not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. There are hundreds of thousands of members, and they love it. MediShare has a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and this is obviously huge. The typical family saves around $6,000 a year switching to MediShare. Find out more. They're great to talk to. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
I mentioned at the beginning of this hour of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox that Edward G. Robinson originally had the leading role in Big Town. He was portraying Steve Wilson from 1937 until 1942. Claire Trevor played the role of the sidekick, Ona Munson, taking over the role in 1940. And then Lorelei Kilbourne would take over the role Lorelei Kilbourne role would be taken over by Fran Carlton as the star reporter from 1942 to 1952. I just think it's interesting that you see that there were some real big stars in radio in the early going, and perhaps that helped boost Big Town, although it had some of its biggest ratings with Edward J. Pawley as the Steve Wilson. So let's get into Big Town. Murder in the Snow, February 1st, 1949, 73 years ago today.
Lever Brothers Company, makers of Life Boy Health Soap, present Big Town.
Extra, extra!
Extra! Here, big town racket expose. Press agent convicted. Screen star killed. Extra, extra!
Yes, Lever Brothers Company, makers of Lifebuoy Health Soap, are proud to present Big Town. The story of fighting editor Steve Wilson of the Illustrated Press, whose newspaper creed stands for freedom and justice against the forces of intolerance and evil.
The power and the freedom of the press is a flaming sword, that it may be a faithful servant of all the people. Use it justly, hold it high, guard it well.
Now, Big Town and Steve Wilson's story, headlined Murder in the Snow. When the blizzard fury of nature clashes with the murderous violence of men, deadly complications can ensue. And such is the case as a movie star and her press agent engage in a bitter quarrel aboard a streamliner approaching Big Town.
Get out of my compartment, Russ. Go nursemaid that so-called husband of mine.
Never mind Vic Vance. That lush needs a keeper, not a nurse. It's you I'm worried about.
You never worry about anything but yourself, Russ Cooper. You and your press agent, 20%.
Well, I'm trying to earn it. Keeping you out of a messy scandal that'll ruin your picture career.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going before that federal grand jury, and I'm going to testify.
You're crazy, Linda. It'll ruin you.
Narcotics ruined several of my friends, and I've a notion they wrecked Vic's chances in pictures.
Oh, Vic's just a bottle baby you married to reform. You've got a Carrie Nation complex.
I've another notion you've got your finger in this, Russ. Get out of here. Mind your job, or you're fired.
Fire me? Why, no one else would handle you. And you're going to need a press agent, but good if you stick your nose in this narcotic mess.
I need your kind of press agent like a hole in the head.
Maybe you'll get that if you don't lay off.
Don't you threaten me, you slimy ex-newspaper slug.
Listen, I know enough about your past to ruin you, baby.
And I know enough about your present to send you to jail. Now get out of here. We're due in Big Town in a couple of hours, and I've got a pack. Get out.
So you won't listen?
No.
You're going to shoot off your mouth?
Yes, and you better wire some of your old pals to scram. Close the door.
Okay, Linda. So long. You stupid dame.
Russ, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Come away from this compartment door. What's the idea of hanging around out here in the corridor? I told you to stay in the lounge bar.
I had to know. I got to know. You know what this means for me if she squawks?
Yeah, I know, and it's a good thing you know what it means if she does.
Did you talk her out of testifying?
If you've been listening, you know I didn't. She threw me out.
What are we going to do?
You know what the boys told you before we got on the train?
I can't do it, Vic. I haven't got the nerve.
Work up the nerve. You've got what it takes in your suitcase?
No. Even then, I couldn't.
Listen, if Linda steps off this train in Big Town, you won't last. Think it over.
But how? In this compartment aboard this train?
You've been told. Frame a stick-up. Get rid of her jewels. Cut yourself up before you let her have it. There's a whole trainload of suspects.
The police will suspect me, hold me, question me. I couldn't stand it, Russ. I couldn't.
Cut it out. Get hold of yourself, Vic. It's the cops or the snowboys. Now get in there with Linda and make up your mind.
Boss, Miss Kilburn.
Say it, Harry.
How come we are hightailing it to the Big Town Pirate Cage so early in the evening? Is it not too soon for the night owls to be hooting it up?
Yes, Harry. But we just had a phone tip from our doorman pal, Boris Goodenough from Nijinsky Pavlovich.
What's Boris got a tip on this time?
It seems some snowbirds have been warbling about a proposed murder and forgot all doormen have very sharp ears, Harry.
Yeah. Is it not amazing that people who should know different think that doormen, cab drivers, and such like are just part of the general landscape?
Fortunately for someone, in this case, we hope.
Pirate Cage coming up. Do I hack you right to the entrance like you were suckers? I mean customers?
Yes, Harry, but wait. We're not getting out of the cab. And don't mind the double talk, Harry. I don't want Boris spotted as one of our tipsters.
Jack, boss. Oh, there he is, coming to open the door.
Good evenings. Welcome to the Pirate's Cages.
Good evening, Doorman. What kind of entertainment is your establishment providing this evening?
Entertainment's just what you like. Dinings, dancing, and later funny fellers make with acts and pretty girls making with feathers like molting parrots.
Sounds dull.
What happens before the floor show, Doorman? Any interesting personalities?
Interesting personalities we got plenty of. Waiting inside.
What are they waiting for, Boris?
A train called the Sunlight Limited to arrive at midnight with a lady on board who had better be dead.
Oh, Steve, the Sunlight Limited from the west.
Who is the lady who should be dead, Boris?
Some movie lady who's coming to big towns to talk to some grand juries about snow. Only not like the kind it looks like we're gonna get tonight.
Narcotics. That could be Linda Lane, the screen star. She's scheduled to appear before the grand jury tomorrow.
But two fellers I hear saying she won't go no place.
Did you get the setup, Boris? Are they set to get her on the train or here in Big Town?
On the train as it comes to Big Town, it is to happen, I think.
Steve, it's 10 o'clock. The Limited has left New City. There's no way of getting in touch with Linda Lane to warn her.
Yes, there is, Lorelei. The Limited stops at North Junction to change to an electric engine a little after 11 o'clock.
Oh, golly, yes.
Could you make it to the junction in an hour, Harry?
If the snow don't get much worse, boss.
We'll try it. Anything else, Boris?
Nothing else, Mr. Wilson. Only them fellers are still inside the parrots' cages, waiting for this something to happen.
Good. Phone Inspector Callahan of Homicide, Boris. Tell him exactly what you've told me, and he'll put a tail on them.
Good. Anything else, Mr. Wilson?
Yes. Ask him to meet us at Central Depot when the Limited pulls in at midnight tonight.
Thus, acting on a tip from the ugly echo chambers of the underworld, Steve and Lorelei race out of Big Town in an attempt to prevent a murder. And for the exciting developments, we'll return in just a moment. Now back to Big Town and to Steve Wilson, Lorelei, and Harry the Hack as they drive out of Big Town in a blinding snowstorm to meet a streamliner carrying a woman passenger marked for death.
Say, boss, it's still 10 miles to North Junction, and this snow is getting thicker than feathers in a kid's pillow fight.
Well, take it easy, Harry. We have 20 minutes left to catch the Limited at the junction and ride it into Big Town.
And the train may be late. This looks like a real blizzard, and the wind is drifting the snow.
Yeah, I may have to stop and put on change, and that'll take a couple minutes. We ain't got to spare.
Well, do your best, Harry. That girl on the Limited may not realize she's marked for death, and there's no way of warning her unless Callahan is able to contact the train through the railroad.
Steve, the killer must be on the train.
Yes. Or we'll board the Limited at North Junction and try to shut her up before we pull into Big Town.
If we make it.
Yikes! Snow drift. We're stuck.
Quick, Harry. Come on, let's get out and put on your chains.
Vic, for heaven's sake, stop pacing up and down the compartment like a cat on a hot stove.
Linda, why won't you listen to me? Why must you go through with this? Why do you have to testify before that grand jury?
Because the rats selling narcotics have been responsible for the death of 2 of my friends.
Oh, so what?
And I've a notion they've wrecked our marriage.
Oh, you're crazy, Linda. It hasn't.
You're a jittering idiot half the time. What's the matter with you if you're not a snowbird?
Linda, I'm not, I swear.
Then what's the matter with you? What's the matter with you now? You're not drunk.
I wish I was. I wish it would help.
Help you do what? What's on your mind?
Linda, please, listen. Listen to me. We're coming to North Junction in a few minutes. The last stop before Big Town. Now, let's get off and take the next train back. It's the last chance.
Last chance for what?
To save your life. Maybe mine.
Rubbish. You've been listening to Russ, that slimy press agent.
He's right, Linda. They'll never let you get to Big Town to testify.
How do you know?
Because we've been warned.
They're bluffing.
They're not.
Besides, they can't get away with it.
They will.
The door to this compartment's going to stay locked until we get into Big Town Central Depot. And I'm being met by detectives from the prosecutor's office.
That won't save you. They'll get to you anyway.
Let them try. I've a gun. I've a permit for it, and I know how to use it. I didn't start pictures as Queen of the Westerns for nothing.
Linda, put that gun back in your jewel case.
Sure. But I'll have it ready for anyone that tries to open that door. Now, please get out of here, Vic. Go back to your own compartment and pack.
All right. All right, Linda, but let's have one drink together before I go.
I don't need a drink.
Well, I do. Please, Linda. For old time's sake.
Oh, all right, Vic. You sure need something. Mix us a couple, but hurry it up.
Okay. Okay, Linda. For old time's sake.
Oh, for heaven's sake, your hand's shaking like a leaf. Here, let me pour.
No, Linda.
Why not?
This is something I have to do myself.
Four films were based on the radio series Big Town, made by Paramount Pictures. I Cover Big Town, and Big Town After Dark, all in 1947, and Big Town Scandal in 1948. All four films starred Philip Reed as Wilson and Hilary Brooke as Lorelei, based on radio segments. Okay, so there you go. Big Town, February 1st, 1949 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
What does it mean to be an American? Just what are our American values? Working hard to succeed, loving God, country, and family, being honest, strong, and compassionate.
Supporting our Constitution and recognizing that we are blessed to be living in America, the greatest country in the world.
Our Bill of Rights protects us, our freedoms of worship, speech, and privacy, our right to own firearms, our right to trial by jury,
our right to be free, to live our own lives without some bureaucrat telling us what to do. Most countries don't have these rights.
Want to know more? It's all there in the book. Get your own free book, The U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Then read it again, and this time share it with your friends. Our great Constitution is the basis of all of our freedoms, our inalienable rights. Get your own copy at freeusbook.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater, an episode of Big Town, starring Edward Pawley, as it was originally broadcast on Tuesday, 10 p.m., February 1st, 1949, in the newspapers of that Tuesday, 73 years ago. These were some of the headlines. President Truman welcomed Israel into the world family of nations yesterday by granting it full-fledged American recognition. At the same time, he extended the United States recognition to the British-supported Arab Kingdom of Transjordan. The White House made separate announcements of the two actions. This emphasized the official Arab American position there had been no deal with the British to trade American recognition of Transjordan for the British recognition of Israel. Britain, in effect, reversed its policy last Friday by granting Israel limited or de facto recognition. Foreign Minister Bevis told the House of Commons a few days earlier the American decision to recognize Transjordan materially influenced Britain's action. Any American answer to Prime Minister Stalin's new peace gesture seems likely to be delayed and carefully thought out. Western diplomats in London took a skeptical view of Stalin's action. Many quarters suggested the Russian Prime Minister was reflecting Soviet shock at the speed with which movements for Western unity are taking place. In capitals all over the world, experts studied Stalin's answers given Sunday to an American newsman's questions. They sought to determine whether Stalin was engaged in a Soviet propaganda move or expressing a genuine desire for peace. Stalin said he had no objections to meeting President Truman at a mutually acceptable place to discuss a peace pact and gradual disarmament. A bill prolonging the life of a GOP anti-inflation measure for 7 months after February 28th was passed late yesterday by the Democratic Senate. The measure goes to the House, provides for voluntary agreements by industry to channel scarce material into essential uses. The administration urged the extension as a stopgap pending action on President Truman's request for compulsory control powers. Indiana's Senate passed a state soldier bonus bill providing $300 for domestic service, $400 for foreign service, and up to $200 more for disability. That bill now goes to the House. And Mrs. Elaine Callahan, a 90-year-old guest at the Cincinnati Old Women's Home, took a hot iron to bed with her to keep her feet warm. She burned to death when the iron ignited the bed and the clothing. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Tuesday, February 1st, 1949 on your radio Big Town, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater.
We made it, boss.
That's nice driving, Harry.
Oh, with a couple of minutes to spare. Oh, Steve, look. There's another car here waiting for the limited.
Maybe some local job.
No. Wait a minute. It's carrying Big Town serial numbers on the license plates.
Can you see who's in the car, Steve?
No, the snow's too heavy, but the exhaust shows the motor's running.
Maybe to keep the heater going like I'm doing. Must be down to 0 outside.
Yes. And I think there are 2 men in the front seat.
Better be careful, Steve. If they're big-town mobsters sent out here to board the train and silence Linda Lane, they may recognize you.
That can't be helped, Lorelei.
Train coming, boss. I just heard a whistle. What do I do?
Now, you've done your part, Harry. Just watch that car until the limited pulls out. Get the license number and phone Callahan of Homicide if any suspicious-looking characters get aboard that train.
Check, boss. You and Miss Kilpine better get up on the platform.
Now, you better hole up in a hotel till this blizzard blows out and the roads are cleared, Harry.
Yes, don't risk getting frozen to death in a drift, Harry.
Okay, Miss Kilpine, I would, the way it's piling up.
All right, Lorelei. Let's go.
Linda Lane's compartment is in this last car, Mr. Wilson.
Thanks, Brakeman. Will you keep an eye on that other passenger who got aboard at the junction?
Sure thing. I hope there won't be any trouble. We may have trouble enough getting into Big Town through this snow.
But surely they'll keep the main line clear, won't they?
Well, they'll try, but there's a couple of deep cuts that drift up bad. Well, I'll go up ahead and watch the guy that got on with you, Mr. Wilson.
What's Miss Lane's compartment number?
Room 6, next to the lounge.
Oh, thanks, Brakeman. Come on, Lorelei.
Steve, look who's coming along the corridor.
Russ Cooper.
Linda Lane's so-called press agent.
Ex-promoter of blackmail columns. Hello, Cooper.
What? Steve Wilson. Well, what are you doing on the limited?
We thought we'd drive out and interview your client on the way into Big Town.
Yes, Russ. Give her a good press and some well-deserved publicity for daring to name names in that narcotic investigation tomorrow.
Linda ain't talking to the newspapers.
I think she'll talk to us, Cooper.
What about? She hasn't got anything to say because she isn't going to testify before that grand jury.
Then why'd she come to Big Town?
Well, if you must know, it was my idea.
Oh, your idea?
Yeah, a publicity stunt to get her name in the paper. And your illustrated press fell for it like a ton of bricks.
Well, coming from you, Cooper, that has all the earmarks of a super colossal lie.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Your type of press agent wouldn't make an admission like that until you were over a barrel or had milked the situation of every line of publicity.
Well, it's the truth this time.
Oh, the truth has never been in you, Russ. You wouldn't have been kicked off the staff of every respectable newspaper that hired you.
I could sue you for that crack, Kilburn.
Oh, it'd be a pleasure. I'd love to get you on a witness stand under oath.
We'll try it sometime, but right now, beat it. Lay off Linda. She's sick. She's gone to bed and sleeping.
Sleeping less than an hour before we pull into Big Town?
I said she's sick, sleeping. Now get out of here and leave her alone.
Well, she's liable to be a lot sicker if we do leave her alone. Now get out of the way, Cooper.
What are you talking about, Wilson?
I'm talking about nothing to you. Now get out of the way. Stop blocking the corridor.
Now, wait a minute, Wilson. Linda has a right to some privacy. I'm paid to speak for her.
Cooper, listen to me. This limited is a public conveyance. This corridor leads to a public lounge at the end of this car, and if you don't step aside...
Lay off, Wilson. You ain't talking to Linda Lane.
Let's leave that to Linda Lane. I'll get out of the way.
Like the devil I will.
Look out, Steve.
Don't telegraph your punches. Now stop talking. Let go. This isn't going to be settled with fists.
What's the matter with you?
Let go my arm, Wilson. I'll sue you for assault.
I'll risk it to find out why you're trying to keep me from seeing Miss Lane. Now, what's happened?
Nothing. Lay off. She's upset. She had a fight with her husband.
Hold him, Steve. I'll go down to her compartment and see.
Keep out of this, Kilburn.
Go on, Lorelei. I'll hold him. Get past us. Something has happened or is going to happen.
Just hold him, Steve. I'll see.
Lay off. Keep out of this.
Now, hold still, Cooper. Keep out of what? How much do you know about the...
I warned her.
Then you know about the plan to kill her.
No, I just heard rumors, but they're bluffing. Now let go.
You're not acting as if you think this is a bluff. Now hold still.
Lay off or you'll get her
She's already
killed.
marked for murder.
How'd you find out?
Never mind. I heard, and now I'm convinced.
Steve.
Yes, what is it, Lorelei?
We may be too late. Linda Lane's compartment is locked on the inside. I pounded and called, but there's no answer, not a sound.
All right, Cooper. What's happened to Linda Lane? Where is she?
I don't know, I swear.
Steve, the train. Something's happened.
The train doesn't matter, Lorelei, now. Talk, Cooper. Is Linda Lane in that compartment?
Is she alone?
I don't know.
Out of the way, please. Let me through.
What's wrong, Brakeman?
We must be stalled in a drift in Longcut. Let me through. I've got to set out warning flares to flag the second section. What's the matter here, Mr. Wilson?
Never mind, Brakeman. I'll handle this. Go set your flares.
Okay, but you better watch out. The guy that got on at the junction is coming back this way.
Coming this way? Oh, Stevie, he may be a trigger man. What'll we do?
Get back. Get the lounge, Lorelei. Come on, Cooper. If this is the gang payoff, you're going to be in the middle of it. Let's go. Lorelei.
Yeah.
There is someone in this compartment. Moving around. I heard them. Now, watch the corridor for that other junction passenger.
Yes, I'm watching it, Steve, but please, be careful.
Get back. I'm going to try and force this door.
Stop it, Wilson. Stop it, you fool. Vic Vance is in there with Linda.
Linda's husband?
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
He's drunk. They've been having a fight. I didn't want it in the papers. Now leave him alone.
This is not the time to worry about your client's domestic relations. This is a matter of her life. Miss Lane, open this door. Answer me if you can.
Cut it out, Wilson. Leave them alone.
Cooper, I warned you. I'm sure you're trying to cover something. Now get away from that door. Stop interfering.
I won't. I'm trying to help you.
Yes,
to keep
trying to keep me from getting in there. Keep away from this door.
Steve, the door. It's opening.
Yes, I'll get back in the lounge, Lorelei.
It's Vic. He's got Linda's gun. I warned you, Wilson.
Shut up, Cooper.
Yeah. Shut up. All of you. Yes. Vic Vance. Mr. Linda Lane. The ex-Mr. Linda Lane. Ex. Because I killed her. Because they made me kill her. Frame me. Cross me up. Use me to kill her, then cross me up.
Who crossed you up, Vic? Who made you kill her?
That rat over there. That press agent Rat Cooper.
He's lying, Wilson.
Lying, am I? Doesn't matter now. They'll hang me. How many more times can they hang me for killing Cooper?
Wait a minute, Vance.
Get out of my way, you. Get out of the way or I'll shoot him right through you.
Don't move from in front of me, Steve. He's crazy. He will shoot.
Yes, and if he's telling the truth, it's too bad. I can't let him do it.
Get out of the way, Wilson. Get out of the way. Let me finish this thing.
The conclusion of Big Town, February 1st, 1949, comes up next on this Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Mike Lindell has set out another big sale for listeners. It's the first of the year bedding sale. Half price on the MyPillow sleepwear, the wonderful Giza Dream Sheets, the 2-inch mattress toppers. It's like a MyPillow for the rest of your body. Also, the blankets and quilts and comforters, they are all half price right now. 50% off if you use our promo code USA. Also, big overstock. If you know somebody who's expecting, the body pillow, it's regularly $120. It's now $39.95. Also, select pillows, couch pillows, and individual towels are deeply discounted. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, use my promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175. The first of the year bedding sale at MyPillow.com. Promo code USA. On Wednesday's Classic Radio Theater, a really scary program. Ernest Chappell's Quiet Please. The Pathetic Fallacy from 74 years ago, February 2nd, 1948. A scientist introduces his lovesick computer to the press with unpredictable results. That'll be on Wednesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But now the conclusion of Big Town, starring Edward Pawley, 73 years ago, February 1st, 1949.
Now back to Steve Wilson aboard a stalled streamliner as he faces an hysterical killer in the deadly showdown of Murder in the Snow.
Get away from in front of that dirty press agent, Wilson. Get away, whoever you are.
Oh, wait a minute, Vance. Before you use that gun on Russ Cooper and the rest of us, are you sure you killed Linda Lane?
Yes. She's in the compartment, smothered with a blanket.
Why, Vic? Why did you kill your own wife?
She was going to talk to that grand jury. I had to stop her, or they were going to kill me.
Kill you? Who told you that, Vic?
Cooper. That rat behind you. Get out of the way.
No, Steve, don't. He'll shoot. Shut up, Cooper. Well, he will anyway, and the shots will go right through me into you.
Yes. Move, Wilson, or I will. Now.
No, wait, Vance. Just one more question. For the record.
Record? What record?
Why, the record of your trial, Vic.
Oh, there isn't going to be any trial. I'm getting away off this train. It stopped. It isn't moving.
Well, that's because of the blizzard, Vic. It's zero out there. You'll be lost in that blinding snow. You'll freeze to death in the drifts that have even stopped this train.
Well, what do I care about death? I'm a dead man now. If the blizzard doesn't get me, the police or the narcotic ring will. Snow. If one kind doesn't get me, the other will.
Well, perhaps not, Vic. You see, you're not yourself. Not completely responsible.
Well, what's the difference?
That's the difference between imprisonment that may save you and death that is final and beyond recall. Now, give me that gun, Vic.
No. Don't you try to take it.
All right, all right. Will you at least let Miss Kilburn go in that compartment and make sure your wife is dead or alive?
She is dead. Dead, I tell you. I tried to bring her back after I realized what I'd done to save my own rotten neck, but it was too late. She isn't breathing. She doesn't move. It's too late. She's dead.
Let me see. I've had nurse's aid training.
No, it's no use. I've only one thing left to do. Kill Russ Cooper for all this.
Steve, stop him. Stop him. Cooper, come back.
No. Let him go.
No. Stop shooting, Vic. You've hit him. He's down. I'll leave him to the law.
Keep away from me, Wilson. I'm leaving. Don't move, any of you.
Don't leave the train, Vance. You'll be lost out there, freeze to death, die in the snow.
Good. That's where I belong. Dead in the snow. Dead in the snow.
Oh, Steve. He will die out there.
Well, maybe it's best. Quick, Laura, I'll get in the compartment. See if there's anything that can be done for Linda Lane.
Oh, what about that other passenger, Steve?
I haven't forgotten about him. Get in the compartment and lock the door.
Right, Steve.
Steve, help me. He hit me in the stomach.
Stop crawling, Cooper. Lie still. We'll get a doctor if there is one on the train.
Help me. Hide me. Vic's coming back.
The brakeman coming back.
Hey, Mr. Wilson, who just jumped out the emergency door?
Victor Vance,
Wait,
brakeman.
he had a gun, ran down the embankment, disappeared in the snow. Well, what happened here?
Vance shot Cooper and may have killed Linda Lane, his wife.
What about the other guy that got aboard at the junction?
I don't know. He hasn't shown up.
He acted kind of funny, and he was coming back through the train.
It's the mob. They've sent somebody to make sure. Don't let him get in his car. Stop him.
Lie still, Cooper. Lie still, or it won't take another shot to finish you.
Steve, Vance was wrong. Linda Lane isn't dead. She's hardly breathing, but she's alive.
Brakeman, run up through the train, find a doctor if you can.
Yes, sir.
Well, wait. Steve, look. Coming down the corridor.
The guy that got on at the junction with you folks.
Don't move. Let him come.
Track must be cleared. They're calling me in. We'll be starting in a minute.
That's no help.
Hold it, Laura.
Hey, what are you folks doing? Playing games?
Yes. What do you want back here?
I want to know if there's any place a guy can get a sandwich and a cup of coffee on this doggone train.
Oh, no.
What's so funny, lady?
Oh, sorry. We thought you might be here to kill someone. And if you'll wait a few minutes, I'm sure Miss Kilburn will make you a sandwich at the buffet bar.
Oh, yes, mister. With my own trembling little lily white hand.
So ended with the death of Victor Vance in the snow, the subsequent arrest and conviction of Russ Cooper and other members of the narcotic ring, and the complete recovery of Linda Lane, another exciting adventure in the newspaper career of Steve Wilson and Lorelei of the Big Town Illustrated Press. In this unstable world, America needs unity as never before. If divided at home, we appear weak abroad. So let's all work for a united America. Let's judge our neighbors as individuals, not on a basis of religion or origin. That's the way to a better America and a better world. Next week, the makers of Lifebuoy bring you a hard-hitting story of reckless driving, headlined Death at the Wheel. Another exciting assignment in the newspaper career of Fighting Steve Wilson of Big Town. Don't miss it. In tonight's dramatization, all names, times, and places are fictional. Big Town features Edward Pawley as Steve Wilson, Fran Carlin as Lorelei Kilburn, and is written and produced by Jerry McGill. Next Tuesday night, same time, same station, you'll hear the newsboy calling...
Extra, hero about it. The story of Steve Wilson and Death at the Wheel, brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap. Extra,
That message at the end was very important. You know, be kind to one another. Anyway, from 73 years ago, February 1st, 1949, Edward Pawley in Big Town here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, contact me directly. You can also find our social media links there, classicradio.stream. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be here each and every Tuesday when we roll around. Don't forget that our shows are also available via podcast applications, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you miss a day, you do not have to miss a show. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I am Wyatt Cox, and please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.